Yes.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I got it. Even neglected a patriotic duty. Mr. Forrester, are there any additions to the agenda?
No additions, Mayor. Thank you.
Consent agenda has been circulated with the meeting brief from July 28th. Are there any corrections or is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as circulated.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Again, any questions or concerns? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. At this point, this is an opportunity for visitors, appearances, and requests. If you would like to speak to the council, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and speak. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Is there anyone online that would like to speak to the council? No comments from there either. All right. Thank you. Council presentations. Republic Services update. Mr. Wes Davis. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Mayor, council members. It's great to be here. I just wanted to come by and introduce myself officially. I am Wes Davis. I'm the new general manager for Republic Services in Central Oregon, which means I work for you guys. You guys are my customers. That means I need to do everything in my power to take care of your issues. Councilmember Smith, we've already talked and I appreciate the feedback. I'm new, which means I'm looking for more feedback as well. I want to make sure you guys all have my direct contact information. And that also goes for the other people of Prineville. I work for you guys too. So I'll be here all day tonight or all evening afterwards if you want to discuss any issues that you're having. I understand we have not been perfect, maybe far from it, but my goal is to make us better and make everybody happy. Generally speaking, people don't like to think about trash and garbage. When we're doing our jobs, they don't usually have to. So that's my goal, is to get us to a place where only the people that are truly interested in it, like me, I'm a nerd for it, have to spend time thinking about it. I'm not new to Republic Services. I've been with Republic Services for 5 years, most recently as a general manager in Coeur d'Alene, northern Idaho, the panhandle there. But when I heard that this business unit was open for a new general manager, I raised my hand because there's no place I'd rather be, frankly. I'm originally from Wisconsin, but don't hold that against me. I think I already gave Mr. Forrester my direct contact information. I have more cards if you guys need my cell. If you don't already have it, I'll pass them out later. But I don't want anybody ever suffer in silence. I want you guys to be able to call me, pick up the phone, send an email, and know that I'm going to be on it and I'll get you an answer or a resolution one way or the other. After all, that is my job. A couple updates, one with the fire that we've had in the AQI. Those that have been impacted by the fire, we put out a roll-off box at our yard last week. Anybody that's been impacted is welcome to come and drop off their trash there if we aren't able to get to you for some reason or it's been building up. I want to make sure that's known. We've already had quite a few people use it, but I want to just take the opportunity to let everybody else know. And standing offer for everybody else here, if you ever do want to ride along in a garbage truck and see what it's all about, it's more fun than it sounds, and it can be pretty enlightening. So standing offer doesn't have to be now or even soon, but again, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll stand for any questions or comments if you guys want to educate me or ask any questions right now. But I just mostly wanted to introduce myself today.
Thank you. Any questions from anyone?
I have a comment. He mentioned my name and we had a situation where we missed a pickup at my residence, and I called the number and I was on hold for 20 minutes. And I didn't like that. So I hung up, I drove up to the office, explained the situation and all that. And Mr. Davis called later in the day and we had a great conversation. And I appreciate that. And, you know, everything's been fine since then. That's what that situation was about.
Yeah, I appreciate the feedback. I really do. It's an opportunity to get better and grow. That's all it is.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. There are my cards here in case anybody, if you need them. Thank you.
Okay. Under council business, we have Striker Park request, Mr. Wayne Looney from Kiwanis. And you've got 3 minutes and 2 seconds.
Steve knows me too well. But anyway, I think, unfortunately, my reputation precedes me, but I will try to be brief. And in that effort, I hope that each of you has this little handout. Much of what I would say is included in there, and I will highlight a few things, but I want to thank the council for the opportunity to present again and to make the proposal to ask for support for the project. I think everybody knows that Kiwanis has been intimately involved in the development of Stryker Park, along with the Parks and Rec Foundation and the Parks and Rec. And so that has been the way that a lot of the things have gotten done down there. But anyway, Stryker Park, really from its inception, has always been a community-based project. And it's that way by design in several respects. And you can see that reference to it on this little handout. We think that there's strength in the community be involved in a project that you're doing. It gives them a sense of ownership. Oftentimes it reduces maintenance problems, and I think they can be proud of what they have done. And so we like that process that we've used for that reason. The other reason that we really liked it is the only way we could get it done. Quite frankly, it was too expensive of a project unless we used that process, did a lot of in-kind work, and did a lot of grant writing and grants received. So it allowed us to build a splash park and then to move forward with the kiddie park with the help of the Parks and Rec Foundation and so forth to where we are to what we refer to as Stryker Park 3, Phase 3. And Phase 3 is basically a playground structure. I think we have John Bond. I don't know if John is here, but John was going to turn in this. I expected him to be here. But anyway, he was going to turn in a thumb drive that had a picture, the rendition of it. I don't know how to move that forward. Thank you. If you could just get it up so we can take a look at it and go through it, these things, maybe go ahead and go forward. How do we need to go forward here? Just the arrow?
Just control it from back there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you can see the different phases. This is part of phase 2. You know, the tuned instrument walkway, which is really unusual for a lot of playgrounds. You don't see that very often. We have a really interesting one and a nicely done one. And so, and then as we go forward, we get down to where there's a nice shade structure. It's always been amazing to me how expensive shade structures are, but they're done. That's in place, and it's a nice thing to have down there in the really hot times of the year for sure. And so those were put in place. That was part of phase 2. That was also when the kiddie park, the one that's over right next to the creek, was put in place. There's also a all-inclusive park there for handicapped children. And so it's a pretty comprehensive playground, and it's all of us have seen that it's pretty well used. I know the only complaint I've had is from our city manager. He can't park his truck out there because, but that's too bad for him.
It never stopped me.
And so in any case, now, phase 3, there's the kiddie park, really nice looking, equipment, up-to-date equipment, very serviceable, done professionally, and, should be, serviceable for a number of years, as almost all the pieces are down there. I was the lead construction person on the splash park, and luckily we got through that one. We now have John Bond, who has a real experience in our. He's a member of our club and is a first-rate construction manager, and so he's the one that's overseen a lot of these projects going on forward from the splash park, and so that's a great relief to me and a great relief to the community because he knows what he's doing, and mostly I didn't. And so it's a really upgrade for this whole project. And so anyway, I'm not going to go through too many things because they're actually stated in that deal. And so it's ridiculous using up your time like that. But we do recognize that there are other ways. There's a picture of the playground structure. It's massive, it's pretty comprehensive. It's appropriate for our community. It lasts a long time and be very, very useful, and kids can have a whole lot of fun there. And so we recognize that there are other Kiwanis, recognizes that there are other ways that this project can be done. This is just one possible way that we can do it. What we bring to the table tonight is, and when you look at the spreadsheet, we have rounded up enough in-kind, primarily John, enough in-kind donations of services and goods, some of those from local people and also others from people that install. There's a zip line in this thing that is not shown there quite yet. The guy that installs that poured in place underneath it. And so there's a lot of discounts in this which are represented in that spreadsheet. So we're able to bring in this project at a considerable less cost. If somebody were to go out and somehow go get a hold of the money to do it in one big grant, then there would be no cost for the city. And so that may be another way to do this thing. I'm not going to say that that is impossible. It's a reach, I think, in my personal opinion, but I have no control over that. What I do have control over is what is stated here in this document and on this spreadsheet. We know that money, those commitments by the suppliers and by the in-kind installers is all done by certified people and is all in place. It was less than a month ago that John checked with all these people because this project has been in hanging fire for a while. And so prices go up, but these are solid prices. And so what we are going to ask from the city council tonight, when you look down here, the bottom line number is 151,000. That's still a lot of money. The last time we were here, we were talking about 200,000 and we wanted to cut it down. We've been able to reduce it some. I still, for me personally, think 151,000 is a heck of a lot of money. But in actually what we would like and are going to ask for tonight is 160,000 from the council so that we have some flex money to make sure that this gets done in the right way. And so I'm happy to try to answer some questions if they exist. And other than that, that's our presentation.
Well, one question that I have, because I see that there was a grant, and I was wondering if, I see Steve Waring from the Parks Department is here. Would you care to explain what the status is of that grant? Because that may impact what is needed from the city.
Good evening, Steve Waring, Executive Director of the Parks and Recreation District. So yes, we have submitted a grant application through the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department. and it's called the local government grant program. That grant was program opened March 2nd and just ended in June. And so the next phase in that grant is for the committee to select the folks that will go to the next round to do a presentation. And then after the presentation, by November, I believe it is, you'll learn whether you're awarded that grant. And so the council members know this is a 60-40 match. And I do want to say kudos and thank you to John Bond and our foundation members, the Parks Foundation members, and then the Kiwanis Club with their contributions toward these projects there. John was able to raise enough through commitment letters from our community and then the kind contribution from the city of $10,000 earlier in this year to where this thing could be funded if we get this grant 100% through contributions and grant money. It won't cost us any of our local SDC dollars or any of our local city dollars. So as you're considering this, I would like to throw another option out there of why not just wait and see what happens with this grant? If there's a sense of urgency that I'm not aware of, I'd sure love to have that conversation with Mr. Looney and the Kiwanis Club and find out what that is. But right now, I do feel, I don't think it's a long shot at all. We applied for that grant in 2023, the same exact grant. And there's scoring criteria as you go through the grant. And as I look at the scoring criteria, there's inclusive features to this. There's pour and play surface material that helps wheelchairs and other folks that can't access the normal equipment. They would be able to do that through this playground feature. But we did apply for the inclusive playground grant in 2023, and it was for $169,000, and we received it. And I applied for it. I did the presentation, and I'm very confident that we can do the same thing. With that said, you're never guaranteed a grant. I mean, you don't know who else is applying and what their story looks like, but I will do my darndest to put our best foot forward for Prineville and do what we can to get that money. Now, if it doesn't happen, we also have SDC dollars that come in for parks. And while it's not currently a prioritized project on our capital improvement plan, it's certainly, variables happen and you change your prioritization. It's certainly something that I could recommend to our board members that, we have this project and I think it's an important project for our community. I mean, we're 3/4 of the way done. We have one more piece left. And so we'll see it through one way or the other. And I will do everything I can through my commitment to make that happen. But right now, I think we're in a good spot, and I think we should ride this out and see what happens with the grant.
Steve, if you don't use the grant for this project, what happens to the grant?
It's project specific, so it's only for this project. And I think the other important thing that we need to mention is that if you receive the grant and you start work or you start purchasing anything towards the grant, it's null and void. You can no longer receive the dollars. You have to get the agreement through the state first. You have to sign it, and then you can proceed with the work on it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ask the question back to Kiwanis. Mr. Wayne, what compromise is raised by postponing the funding and your construction of the project?
Well, the only thing, I think Steve is very accurate in his statement there. If you want to wait to see if the grant is successful, grant application, then you can do it in that fashion. We know we're prepared to start turning dirt, depending on the decision by this council in this third quarter. And depending on the weather, of course, and stuff, this project would be online in the spring. And so, or maybe in the winter. Weather is a factor, obviously, and there's not as much use in the winter, but in any case, we're ready to roll. And so that's one of the advantages of the process that we're talking about, in addition to the fact that it's locally controlled and it's locally driven.
Do you mind if I add one more point?
Please.
I've worked in parks and recreation industry for 30 years. I've installed playgrounds before. John Bond is a very knowledgeable contractor, and I would love to work with him to do this project, but I do know how to install playgrounds and work with the playground installation company. If we get this grant, we could break ground the minute the ground thaws in the springtime. We wouldn't be able to start this project prior to that. So if that's the driving factor, we need it now, today. Support through SDC dollars or through city would be needed for this. But if we can wait and see what happens with this, that's $175,000 that could be used towards another project in the city. And this is state lottery money then that would pay for this playground. At least 60% of the playground.
How much is your grant for that you're you do play?
I'm asking for $275,000. And then the match, including the playground grant, which is, so the playground grant, the playground company is contributing, I believe, $167,000 towards this playground. And so we have a letter of commitment through the end of this year, but I talked to the provider and they would write us another letter in January, once we were approved for this grant. So, our 60% or our 40% is the $234,937.
Thank you. Comments from the council?
I have a question for Wayne. The zip line, that's kind of fascinated me since the very beginning. Thinking about how you use that, how to save kids, how I can get in line.
Yeah, that always obviously is a factor. You can't install something where you're gonna create a huge liability factor. And this particular zip line has the fall protection underneath it, so it's accurate. It's not a high lift. And then there's also a feature in it where special needs kids can use it. There's a line there so that they can use it and enjoy it. No, it's the playground company that's supplying these things. They're licensed and bonded. They've been in business a while. They can't afford to do that. We don't want to put something down there that's going to put a liability position for anybody.
Thank you.
I guess my perspective is, as exciting as it would be to break ground and start immediately, that's $150,000 community resources that if we can hold off and have it by, mid-spring,
Yeah.
that's probably the direction I would be leaning.
Yeah.
I applaud the Kiwanis and everybody involved in their efforts and what they've accomplished. And yeah, I understand that delaying 6 months or 9 months or something, there could be a slight rise in some of those costs. But I think it's prudent to give the grant an opportunity to come through to cover a bulk of that. Is my perspective.
Steve, I agree with Scott. I think we have this money available, or possibly have this money available. The city has some money here, and I think it just makes sense for everybody involved to wait and see whether the grant is successful or not. And if it isn't, we've got a backup plan here in place for it. So I think that's a win for everybody.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on board with everyone else here. I don't feel like that's a pretty major expenditure at this point when there's still other possibilities on the table to save, some tax dollars.
Well, I agree with Scott. I mean, this is a amazing project, Kiwanis, it's put together, and thank you, Kiwanis, to the Kiwanis Club for all of their efforts to make this happen. And it will happen, but I'm thinking that from a public resource standpoint, that we need to be prudent about how we handle those resources.
So do we need to make a motion saying that we're suspending this until like December to see what happens with the grant?
Well, you don't need to do a motion from non-action.
Okay,
So, there's no decision to be made, unless a motion is made to make a decision, but you don't have to
Yeah.
make a motion to make
Okay.
a non-decision.
okay.
If you'd like to ask that this be brought back to the council, in later fall to get an update on the project and the grant, that certainly can be recommended, and we can work with our clerk to
Get it on the radar. Yeah.
get it on the radar and work with Kiwanis and the Parks Department to get a mutually beneficial update basically in the fall. So in regards to that, like from the grant standpoint, what do you think would be a good check-in time period, Mr. Waring?
I think December is a good time frame for us. And then again, if it fails, I think it's a great opportunity for Kiwanis, Parks, City. We can sit down and talk about it and strategize. What's the best way for our community to pay for this? Again, I think the SDC fees for the Parks District, at one point they were sparse, but they're a lot more robust now. So I think there's more opportunities here.
And to Mr. Waring's point as well, and we don't have this Antrim here or Hooper Antrim, you know, there are budgetary constraints, right? I mean, this wasn't part of the budget. And so that has to be a thorough review and presentation from our finance department as well. So perhaps having that on our radar in December would work quite well. We only have one meeting traditionally in December.
Yeah. And my personal preference is, and I'm not speaking on behalf of our board, just as the executive director, I would like to see if we can finance, what's the financial strategy that we can come up with internally first. And if we can't do it by ourselves, then let's come to the city and say, how can we work together to make this happen?
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
So Wayne, I'd like to thank you and the Kiwanis and everything you guys have done for that park over there. It's a quality asset that we have for the community. So thanks for the splash pad, for the different phases of the playground equipment that's over there now. And I love that you're being inclusive enough to include handicapped folks too, or folks that aren't able to do the regular stuff.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And, you know, our goal is to serve the community and especially the kids. That's our mission. And this is in our lane, you know, and that's why we did it. And quite frankly, that's how we are able to get the support to raise the money to do these projects, is delivering on a project that we have asked people to support us for. So.
Well, we are very appreciative of all of your efforts. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Intent to award an on-call electrical contractor.
Good evening, council. For the record, Casey Kaiser, City of Prineville Public Works Director and Assistant City Manager. At this time, I'd like to ask council to consider approving the intent to award for on-call electrical services contract. So this would be very similar to, most of you will probably remember a little over a year ago, we did a similar thing with Abbas for our wells and pump service contract. So we've run into a similar problem with electrical work for the city. And so what happens is when we have repairs, oftentimes we're under a little bit of a time frame. Like the quicker we get those repaired, the quicker we can get our system back into full service and operation. So what we've run into is electric contractors have been increasingly hard to secure. And so what we're proposing is to have one on-call electrical contractor that would be available for us to that would make a priority out of our work, that would become familiar with our system, that would be more efficient at providing those repair and maintenance services to us. From a budget perspective, this isn't any new money, so we already budget for electrical repair and maintenance work within our department budgets, like the water fund, the wastewater fund, even IT and our police department. Whatever facilities or departments in the city have need of electrical services, for the most part, we're facilitating that on the public works side. So this contractor would provide all that. They would, in essence, be our on-call electrical services provider. Now, staff utilized an RFP process for procuring this or for selecting this contractor. So we had 4 staff members that reviewed these proposals, and then each proposal was scored based on 5 different criteria. Those criteria were their qualifications and experience, specifically their municipal project experience, their emergency response capabilities, how fast could they respond, how could they free up resources to service our issues, pricing, and then finally references. So I had some questions about scoring and how that worked. So each of those proposals could have received a total of 100 points from each of 4 reviewers. So they could have got a total of 400 points. Chet's Electric had the highest scoring proposal with a score of 381. The rest of the proposers and their scores are included in the council packet. So again, we're estimating that there will be about $150,000 a year of work under this contract, but that isn't new money. That isn't additional budgeted funds. This is just money that we would already pay to some electrical contractor. This selection process would just determine that electrical contractor that we would use primarily. And that's not to say that there might not be situations where we would continue to utilize other electrical contractors. Certainly on any of our larger jobs, we would still go through our normal contract procurement process. This is primarily for those, what I'll call emergency repairs, or those unanticipated repair and maintenance projects that come up. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but if there aren't any questions, I would recommend council consider approving the intent to award to Chet's Electric for the on-call electrical services contract.
Does I have any questions?
Nope. I would move that the council approve the intent to award the electrical on-call maintenance contract to Chet's Electric.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Again, any concerns, questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, council.
Good deal to have that.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is a consideration of a proclamation. This is a proclamation that the city has held annually for September for the Constitution Week. And I am proposing that we approve this to be presented at the September 8th, the first meeting in September, that it be presented. So you've had a chance to review it, look through it. Any concerns, questions?
I move to approve the reading of Proclamation Constitution Week at the September 8th meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Questions again, concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right. Under staff reports and requests, Mr. Forrester's city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. At the public safety and dispatch area, Katie's reporting that they have received 23 applications for call takers. I'd like to remind the council that several years ago, we went to a call taker position with the idea that that would lay the groundwork and the fundamentals that those folks that participate as a call taker can potentially transition into a 911 dispatcher. So the fact that we have 23 applicants is a healthy amount, and that's good news. And hopefully that will provide some extra help for Katie as she continues to work on getting a full staff up there at 911 and dispatch. Also, we got word that Frontier 911, which was dislocated from Condon during the fire battles of recent weeks, they're back online, and they're no longer under threat. So that takes a little pressure off Katie and her team from that perspective as well. On the public works side, Casey and his team obviously are doing paving and seal coat projects. They're all in progress. Casey wanted me to point out specifically that paving is being worked on, or this project is being worked on in the Mariposa and Pippin area. And as of this afternoon, Casey's very confident that we'll be able to get all that completed by the end of this week. So that's good news for the residents up there. Caroline wanted to kind of include in the public works side of things, as it relates to the grant work that she does, that we have applied for a regional infrastructure grant. And this would have to do with upgrading the headworks at the wastewater treatment plant. So that wastewater project is very important to us, and hopefully that would be a grant that we'll be successful on and upgrade that facility. On the railroad side of things, we did, as I think we reported on previously, but we did have our new warehouse and Freight Depot lead persons start August 3rd. And if you get an opportunity to welcome Jennifer Kemper to the team, we're excited to have her. This will help Matt and the rest of the railroad team since they continue to have a lot of activity transferring freight in the Freight Depot area, along with fairly active railroad freight as well. We're also working on filling an additional warehouse opening to support that same type of work. On Meadow Lakes, still reporting a little bit slower play due to the wildfire smoke. According to Zach, about 60% of what we would normally expect in terms of play on the golf course. The club champion tournament went well on the weekend of August 1st and benefited from clear skies during that event. So that worked out really well. Airport, Kelly's reporting that a lot of activity up there with single engine air tankers as well as helicopter activity up there. So it's good news for Kelly. Bad news that we have to have him up there, but he is active fuel sales and support from all the activity up there. Planning side, Josh is busy working on many long-term projects such as the MERL, the Middle Income Revolving Loan, along with the Transportation System Plan TSP amendment, which we'll be seeing soon, and a Milliken Road right-of-way acquisition, as well as many other things that you might expect. Human resources, we've been busy monitoring air quality index. Carrie's done a great job of making sure that our people that are uncomfortable, have any kind of respiratory issue, what their options are, providing opportunities for them to work from home or use some vacation time under this terrible air quality that we've been experiencing. So we try to keep that up to date with what is recommended, through our state and human resource laws. IT, busy assisting with fire incident communications to make sure all fire crew are able to communicate with each other as well as local emergency response. And that kind of reminds me, just kind of ad-libbing here just real quickly, is Shane and his team, Tom and the gang, have been very active supporting Crook County Sheriff's Office in terms of going up areas like Mackay, putting themselves in harm's way to make sure that the residents up there are informed or evacuated, and taking care of those citizens out in our community. And so, again, the coordination between our police department and the sheriff's office is very important. And remember, that's a reciprocal situation. So when the chips are down in the city, we can count on them as well. So I just wanted to make sure that the council knew that Shane and his team have been assisting Crook County through this fire issue. Moving on, public relations, Sean Ray is preparing for a state water tour with the Deschutes Basin with legislators that will highlight modernization projects that have been or will be done. And interesting enough, the participants of this state water tour are interested in Prineville. And part of that reason is obviously the work that Casey and his team and Eric Pryor with respect to awkward storage and recharge, with respect to the wetlands and the interconnectivity to the Crooked River. Also the Mackay Switch, we partnered with OID on all the things that we've done with OID through the Peters Road connection and what's going on with the legislation and the habitat conservation plan that the city is a partner in. And all that work is of high interest to state legislators. So anytime we can get them over here, I think is a great opportunity. Along that same line, I did get a call today from Jody from Oregon Fair Taxes, Jody Weiser. And I participated in the governor's data center committee, and Jody was a little bit vocal on some of the tax abatements and whether they're good or whether they're bad, and had some, I would say, some strong comments to be made. So I kind of countered some of those comments as it relates to the benefits of the data centers and how the tax abatements work. And she actually contacted me today, very interested in what's going on in Prineville, what we've done in the past, where we're heading in the future, how we've set up our relationships with the state, we set up how we work with the county, some of the projects that we've leveraged with the data centers is of interest. She's gotten word of some of the things that's happened around here with some of our enhancements to the infrastructure. And I'm very pleased that she reached out to us. She's going to be here in September. I just got this word this afternoon, so I will bring the council along on what that meeting might look like, as I would expect some participation. I will be relying heavily on Casey, of course, and Caroline to help me with that as well. So kind of interesting that the people that are at the state level trying to figure some of this stuff out are actually working on it and very serious about it. So I'm pleased about that. And I think we should all be pleased that they're looking at Prineville for maybe how to do things right. So reminder to the mayor and council, the annual League of Oregon Cities Conference held at Salem Convention Center. Again, just make sure you coordinate with Lisa. And if you're interested in going, I think that's already happening. And then finally, Russ from the fire department is reporting that fires at this time of this report have moved in the wilderness or not threatening any structures at this time. The preliminary updates I got today that the fire lines have held for the most part, been able to put out some hot spots, still very dangerous in areas as it relates to what the winds might do, and flare-ups of causing something that looks pretty good today with a little bit of wind could pop back up and carry embers into areas that they're trying to protect. So a little bit of good news. I don't think we should get overconfident for sure, but a little bit of better air quality and not as many plumes as we've seen the last couple of days this afternoon. So hopefully that means a better day tomorrow, and hopefully the night will be productive for the fire teams up there. That concludes my report. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, are there any council reports? Well, I received an envelope from the kids club, and it's a packed full of delightful thank you notes that the kids at Kids Club sent to the city of Prineville saying thank you for the contribution. And if you would just take a look at some of those thank you notes and share them along the council, they are fun.
Legos, dodgeballs, and money.
Not necessarily the greatest spelling, but they are young kids. They will learn.
Outstanding.
But I thought these were a delightful series of thank you notes.
Dodgeballs, Legos, and money.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
That's too funny.
Those are great.
And with that, see that there are no ordinances and there are no resolutions. So it's time to ask if there are any comments from the visitors, any visitors' appearance and requests to the council. Anyone would like to speak to the council? Please come forward and take the podium. Don't all jump up at the same time. Okay. Is there anyone online? No one online? That looks like it concludes what we have for business this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you all.